who's your friend?
First aid accessory for resuscitation purposes and such like. I must say that surgical supply shop in Martha Street, it's a real Aladdin's cave. You could spend hours in there.
Does this mean you'll be practising mouth-to-mouth on that thing whenever there's a lull?
No, of course not. We're holding the class in here tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they normally held it in the church hall at St Mary's, but the roof collapsed in on them last month. During the class, actually.
Oh, nobody was hurt.
Only minor cuts and bruises, which they covered the week before. So I've offered them temporary respite here until Lester can find something more permanent.
Excuse me? Is there anybody sitting here?
It proves that marriage is a sham, though. If Cropper's out buying sex dolls.
So hang on, he was just walking down the street with it under his arm, was he?
Brazen as you like. He's got some front, I'll give him that.
If you can keep your head when all about you're losing theirs, then you have the makings of a volunteer member of the Weatherfield First Aiders. If you also know how to apply a triangular bandage, then so much the better. But why join? Why go through the gruelling induction, the endless training modules? What's in it for you? Roy, what do you hope to get out of joining?
Oh, well, I'd like to think that I was equipped to deal with an emergency should one arise, because we have had one or two incidents on the premises.
Peace of mind, basically. Haley.
Oh, well, I've always been fascinated by anything medical.
You're attracted by the glamour of it.
Oh, well...
No, go on, admit it. We've all seen the medical dramas on the telly and thought, I wish that was me. Aye, being a volunteer does have its glamorous side. My nickname at work is George Clooney. I'm a bingo caller by profession, and a few months back, a jackpot winner got a little carried away running up to collect her winnings. She fell and sprained her ankle. In a matter of seconds, and to everyone's amazement, I was at her side performing the RICE procedure. Now, can anyone tell me what that stands for?
Oh, yeah, is it, rest, ice, compress, elevate?
Spot on. Well done, Haley. And continue with chest compressions and ventilations until help arrives. Any questions? No? Roy, why don't you have a go?
No, I don't.
It's only a doll, Roy. Can't come to any harm. Lift the chin and tilt the casualty's head back to keep the airways open. Yeah, don't forget to check for any visible obstructions. Dentures. Pinch the nose with the fingers and thumb to keep the airway open. Gently.
Can somebody else have a go? It's all getting jumbled in my head.
It's okay, Roy. People spend years perfecting this. Why don't you just take 5 and we'll come back to you? Haley, why don't you have a go?
Lift the chin and tilt the head.
Good.
Check for obstructions.
That's it. Deep breath. Seal your lips completely over the casualty's mouth. Blow firmly. Very good.
Lester's ever such a good communicator, don't you think?
Can we just concentrate on putting these chairs back where they belong?
Did you not enjoy the class, Roy?
I found it very instructive.
Why are you in a funny mood then?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Come on, what is it? Something's put your nose out of joint.
Well, in that case, perhaps you had better step up and give us a perfect demonstration on how to put it back again.
Are you annoyed with me because I took more quickly to the resuscitation procedure?
No?
Roy Cropper, I never knew you had a macho streak in you.
Well, if I have, that's thanks to Lester or George Groovy or whatever he calls himself. The way he behaved.
And how was that exactly?
His manner with you was very flirty.
Rubbish.
At one point, I thought you were going to start practising artificial ventilation on each other. The rest of us didn't know where to look.
I have never heard such a load of codswallop in my life. And if you're thinking these thoughts, then we might as well give up first aid classes now. We are preparing to deal with life and death situation. That was the last thing on my mind.
Well, I'm not saying that it was intentional, not on your part, any road.
Might have known it were a bad idea. You were saying with Spanish lessons.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I just felt that everything I tried tonight was useless.
You've just got to give it time.
And that Lester is so dynamic. I'm sorry, when I feel threatened, I just lash out. I can't help myself.
Even if I were going to flirt with someone else, which I never would, it certainly wouldn't be with someone like Lester Middleman.
No.
He's all mouth and trousers. I prefer the strong, silent type, like you. Listen, why don't I go upstairs and make us a nice hot drink while you lock up?
Good idea.
It's like Sodom and flaming Gomorrah around here.
I'm just practicing my ventilation.
You won't lock it up.